Hello everyone, Cool Dude Koromai here, and Pokemon Sword and Shield just released, and personally I am a big fan of playing Pokemon games competitively, and frankly put, I just thought that it would be a neat little video idea to go over which Pokemon I think could be interesting to use or good in this upcoming competitive scene of Pokemon Sword and Shield, which, by the way, if you haven't played those games yet, I would recommend them. I think I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. I just beat the story a couple days ago, and I've started preparing for when the competitive scene starts to get big, so yeah, it's a really fun game I would recommend. So yeah, basically today we will be going over which Pokemon that I think will be interesting or could see some use in the foreseeable future for Sword and Shield's competitive battles. Now, do keep in mind that these are all just my opinion, and not all of these will be good Pokemon, but rather some of these may just be Pokemon that I think would be fun to use. So, without further ado, let's start things off with one of my favorite new Pokemon in this generation, which is Galarian Darmanitan. Now, on its own, Galarian Darmanitan isn't really, like, his design's kind of interesting. He's sort of a snowman sort of thing, which I think is interesting. But shockingly, this Pokemon actually has a very nice ability. In fact, I think this ability is so good that I've heard one of my friends has told me, as of recording this, that Galarian Darmanitan has already been banned from OU singles. And the reason why is because it has a signature ability called Guerrilla Tactics. And what this does, it allows you to perform any it basically gives you a 50% buff to your strength stat, but locks you in the first move you make. So it essentially functions like the choice band item, meaning that if you're using this Pokemon, you don't have to worry about the choice band item locking in your moves anyway, because you're already locked into whatever move you choose first. And because of that, you can run choice band, so you can run choice band as your item to get 2 times attack. Choice Scarf to get an extra 50% attack on top of your 50% speed. Or you could even, if you wanted to run a more bulky set, you could put Assault Vest on, since you're going to be probably using mostly attacking moves with this Pokemon. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting Pokemon. An example moveset for it would probably be something where we would see Galarian Darmanitan holding a Choice Band or Choice Scarf, depending on if you want to go for speed or like sweeping. With Guerrilla Tactics as its ability, with 252 EVs in attack, 252 in speed, and then maybe 4 in HP or special defense, or just anything that you think would work for that last stat. But yeah, that's just an example set. Some moves that I think would be good on it. Ice Punch definitely would probably be its main stab move. But other than that, you can really run whatever physical type moves you have. If you have a Zen mode one, which from what I understand, Zen mode in this game, instead of converting him to a special attacker, once his HP drops below 50%, Darmanitan gets a huge speed and attack buff. So if you do that, then what you can do is you can run a Belly Drum set, since it gets Belly Drum now, and that drops you instantly to 50% HP and gives you 4 times attack, meaning that you can get Zen mode's attack buff, and then you can also get the 4 times attack. So overall, I just think that Galarian Darmanitan is going to be a very interesting Pokemon, and I don't know if it's going to see any use online, seeing as how it's been banned, but I think that it's going to be a very fun Pokemon to use as well. I really love this Pokemon's design, and its Ice-Fire typing in Zen mode is really unique. Moving on to another new Pokemon, we have Polteageist. Now, this little teacup Pokemon may seem weak at first, but once you get into its stats and move pool, it's anything but. The main point of interest is its access to Shell Smash, which is a very good setup move where you cut your defenses by 1, special defense and defense, but in exchange you get 2 times to your attack, special attack, and speed. Now, this is a very good move in general, but combine this with the fact that Polteageist gets access to Stored Power, which is a psychic type move that starts off at 20 base power, and I believe it gets 20 more power to it for each stat boost you have. Now combine that with the fact that you're getting 6 stat buffs, because 2 in speed, 2 in attack, and then 2 in special attack, and it's going to be dealing a lot of damage because it's getting all those special attack buffs and then the stored power is going to be dealing a lot of damage. It's also probably going to be able to outspeed most things. Maybe if they can hit you with Sucker Punch, they can take you out. But other than that, I don't think that there's anything that can really put a dent in this guy. It's just overall a good Pokemon, and in addition, I don't know if it's as good as the normal Dynamax form, but it also gets access to a special Gigantamax form. I haven't looked into the stats of that thing or its signature move, but it could be interesting. We'll just have to see where time goes with this thing. An example set for this thing would be Polteageist with weak armor, which drops your defense but raises your speed by 2 every time you're hit. This just allows you to stack up more power on your stored power, because you're raising that speed by 2 every time you get hit, which also just lets you outspeed more things. Then you want 252 EVs in special attack and speed, and then 4 in special defense. This ensures that you're hitting as hard as you possibly can, as well as outspeeding a lot of stuff. And then for the item, I put Focus Sash, just to be sure that you can get those Shell Smash boosts up and survive a turn. However, you could also run White Herb or just a Life Orb if you want to deal more damage. But overall, I just think that this Pokemon is going to be very good and very interesting, to say the least. And then for moves, you could run Shell Smash, Stored Power, Strength Sap to lower their attack, to lower the opposing Pokemon's attack and heal. That's a very good utility move that not very many Pokemon get access to. I think in this game, the only Pokemon that get it are Polteageist and Vileplume. I could be wrong there. And then Shadow Ball can be its last attack, just as a good stab move. But yeah, overall, Polteageist is a very interesting Pokemon that I feel we will be seeing a lot in future competitive battles. Toning things back, now I have a Pokemon that is not new. It is actually from Generation 1, that being Gyarados. Now, on paper, you may think that Gyarados is just the same as it's always been. It didn't necessarily receive that many just buffs in general. So you may think that it's pretty normal. However, the main thing that makes this Pokemon amazing in this game is the introduction of Dynamaxing. Now, whenever you use a Dynamax move, it becomes its own move dependent on the type of move used, and each of these moves have secondary effects. Now, for this set, I'm going to be pointing out that Water-type Gigantamax moves create Rain, and Flying-type ones boost your speed by 1 stage. So, I don't know if you can see where I'm going with this, but the ideal strategy for Gyarados in this game would be something like Gigantamax your Gyarados, use a G Water-type move to set up Rain, and then you can just spam the G Flying-type moves to boost your speed, and then when you take out a Pokemon, you have Gyarados' Moxie ability to boost your attack. You only get 3 turns as a large Gyarados, so if you're able to get all 3 of these attacks off, you can have a Rain going. And then you can also have your speed boosted by 2, which is amazing. Not to mention the fact that you could also get attack boosts from taking out Pokemon and getting the boost from Moxie. I think that this Pokemon is going to be very interesting. I think it's definitely one of the most overlooked Pokemon that people are talking about, and I can't wait to use one. An example set that I made up would be something like Gyarados with Moxie, because Moxie is like the core part of this strategy. With a Damp Rock, I put that on there just so whenever it uses the G Water-type move, it can have the Rain going for 2 more turns, so its Water-type moves get extra powerful. But you could also run something like Life Orb on it. And I put 252 attack, 252 speed, and 4 special defense. This allows it to have a very good damage output on top of being able to get a little bit more tanky with those Thunderbolts. And then for moves, I put Waterfall as its main stab Water-type move, Crunch as a nice dark coverage move, Dragon Dance, so if you can't get the speed boosts or attack boosts up, you can always just Dragon Dance as a nice reliable form of setup. And then on top of that, whenever you use a status move as the big Pokemon, it just basically becomes Protect. So it's just access to another move. And then for its final move, this may seem interesting, but I chose Bounce. And the reason why is because Bounce is Gyarados' strongest stab physical flying type move. And when you're Dynamaxed, the flying type move it doesn't take 2 turns because it becomes its own move, and you get the speed boosts. So this is essentially the best flying type move that you can use on Gyarados, at least while he's Gigantamaxed. So yeah, I think it's a very good Pokemon, and I feel like it's kind of becoming overlooked over a lot of the newer Pokemon. Next up, we have Toxapex. Now, Toxapex is a Pokemon that I'm already seeing used quite a bit when I'm playing on Pokemon Showdown, and that is because Toxapex is one of the few good setup Pokemon that survived the National Dex wipe. So Toxapex will undoubtedly be... I'd wager that Toxapex will become the most used setup Pokemon of this generation, especially in singles. It's able to wall off so many Pokemon that it cannot be poisoned due to its poison typing, and it's able to affect many Rapid Spin users in the game, like this is a new Pokemon, Colossal and Corsola super effectively. This is really good because those 2 Pokemon, they have decent defensive stats. When I'm saying Corsola, I'm referring to Johto Corsola, not the Galarian Corsola, by the way. It's also a very interesting Pokemon. You can run Eviolite on it, and it can become a tank. It's not on this list, but I do think that a lot of people are kind of overlooking it. So yeah, Toxapex in general is just going to be good for the same reasons it was good in Gen 7 OU. It's just reliable setup on top of those amazing defenses, and not a lot of Pokemon can take it out. It can probably survive a few Thunderbolts from a lot of stronger attackers as well, so it's going to be there to set up the Toxic Spikes, the Toxic, whatever you need it to. It's just good for the same reasons as it was in Gen 7. Use whatever set on it you want, but most of the time you'll probably be seeing Black Sludge, maybe Merciless on there, and then you'll probably see in moves, they're obviously going to have Toxic Spikes, Toxic, Stealth Rock, and then for the last 2, or just other moves it might have, I could see a lot of Scald, because the burns are always really nice. And then if you want to be mean and use this Pokemon, I would recommend you put the 252 EVs into HP, and then put 252 into either Special Defense or Defense, and then put the remaining 4 into whichever stat you didn't choose. It's just a really good Pokemon overall. Now, next up, we have a Pokemon that I don't think is going to be super good in competitive, but it's still interesting in my opinion, and that is Berserker. This is the new evolution for the Galarian Meowth, and it is based off of a Viking, which I think is very interesting. I have mixed feelings about this Pokemon. One of my friends isn't a huge fan of it, but while it's not necessarily probably going to be a strong Pokemon to use in competitive, Berserker seems like an interesting pick at the very least. Its stats aren't too impressive. I believe it only has 440 base stat total. However, it has a base 110 attack and 100 defense, meaning that it's a very nice physically orientated Pokemon. You may want to run Choice Scarf or Choice Band to maximize damage output, or to increase the odds of you outspeeding some slower Pokemon, because its speed is not very good. I believe it only has base 50. I looked earlier. And one other thing to mention, it does get the Tough Claws ability, which is a very good ability, which raises the damage dealt by physical contact moves by 30%. And combine that with the fact that it gets moves like Iron Head and Play Rough, you're going to have a lot of moves that are boosted by Tough Claws. So in terms of a set, I would definitely recommend that you would run something along the lines of Tough Claws with Life Orb, with max EVs and attack and HP with the remaining in special defense, so you can tank those fire type flamethrowers and fire blasts. And then for moves, I would say Fake Out, Iron Head, Close Combat, and Play Rough. Fake Out is just, you probably aren't going to want to use that if you're running a Choice Band set. However, if you want to just get a little extra damage off, you can go for the Fake Out and then just switch out next turn, but you get the guaranteed flinch. So he won't be taking any damage while he's out. But if you don't want to use Fake Out, another good option it gets is U-Turn, so it can take out Psychic or Dark types and keep team momentum going. So yeah, it's a very interesting Pokemon to say the least. So finishing things off, I want to go over the pseudo-legendary Pokemon of this generation, and that is Dragapult. Now, Dragapult is actually a very cool-looking Pokemon design-wise, in my opinion. I really love that it's based off of a stealth bomber. However, I feel like, as a pseudo-legendary, it's undoubtedly going to be one of the best Pokemon of the generation. And the thing that honestly surprised me is that this thing is faster than Garchomp, making it the fastest pseudo-legendary currently available. Now, I have 3 sets written down, and I'll get into why in a minute, but we have a physical set, a mixed set, and a special set. Now, the reason why is because Dragapult has base 120 attack and base 100 special attack, so you would probably want to use it in a more physical setting. However, despite that, it does not actually get that many good physical moves. It doesn't even get Earthquake, if I recall. So I'm going to go over the physical set real quick. So for this, I have Life Orb as its item, but you could also run Choice Band, but if you did that, you wouldn't be able to use Dragon Dance. For its ability, I have Clear Body, so you won't be taken out by any Intimidates. And then for moves, I have its signature move Dragon Darts, which is a 2-hit Dragon-type move, which can break Substitute if they set it up and then hit the opponent. It does 50 base power and hits twice. And then I have Psychic Fangs for Fighting-type coverage, a 85 base power move. It's pretty good overall. I believe it has a chance to flinch, and on top of that, it breaks screens, so you can get rid of any pesky reflex or light screens that the opponent has. And then I gave it Sucker Punch for the nice priority. And finally, we have Dragon Dance. As it is a good Dragon type, it's going to have Dragon Dance, and it's probably going to see the most use out of Dragon Dance on the physical set, because on the mixed and special set, you're probably not going to want to use Dragon Dance, since you'll be doing more damage with special attacks. Now, moving on to the mixed set, this time we have Life Orb again, and Infiltrator as its ability. I would have said Clear Body again, however, Intimidate won't be as much of a problem, considering that you'll also be dealing special damage. So I'd say just go for the Infiltrator so you can hit past the screens. And then for the moves on this one, we have Dragon Darts once again, Shadow Ball, Draco Meteor, and U-Turn. So this is actually a very interesting set in my opinion, because say you go for the Dragon Dance and you're at your -2 special attack and you won't be doing any more damage to anything, you can just go for the U-Turn, and even if the opponent switches out, you can keep the momentum of the fight going. Very good. I think that the special set may be the one I plan on running in the future after I breed a good one. For nature, you might want to go for something like minus special defense plus speed, because it's already going to be outspeeding a lot of stuff, and this Pokemon is not the most bulky already. However, that nature is just, you can use whatever. If you want a more physically orientated one, you can use Adamant, something like that. And then the final Dragapult set I want to talk about is the special set. Now, for this one, we have Choice Specs as the item, with Infiltrator as the ability, for the same reasons that I mentioned in the mixed set. Intimidate's not a problem since you're a special attacker. And for this one, I have a very diverse moveset in the form of Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, and Shadow Ball. That Draco Meteor, if you have the choice specs, it's going to hit really hard, and you can probably use it 2 times while the Pokemon is sent out once, because you'll only be at -1 special attack since you're holding choice specs. And then the Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, they're just there for coverage. Take out any Pokemon that you can't really hit super effective, and now you can. And then finally, the Shadow Ball. It's a good stab ghost type move, plus the chance to drop special defense on a special orientated set is amazing. So yeah, I may do another one of these videos in the future, because there are a lot of Pokemon in this generation which I really think could be very interesting and fun to see used in competitive. However, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If there's a Pokemon you want me to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to do a whole lot of videos on Pokemon, because Smash seems to be the main thing that people like from my channel. But after the Pokemon Nuzlocke, I'll probably go back to Choose Your Character. But if you guys want to see more Pokemon content, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Thank you all for checking this video out. I hope you all are enjoying Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.